We have reached the conclusion of our conference comparisons here on Mark Rogers TV, at least this series. So the next series, we take all the Power 5 results, we throw them all together, put them through the shredder, and we tell you who played the best against each other in the non-conference play in 2016. Beyond the records, we get more detailed than that. The records are somewhat meaningless. Anyway, this series concludes where we're matching up all the Power 5 conferences against each other, and this is completely subjective. The other one's objective, just the results. This one, just my opinion. Here it is. This is our last series, our last matchup. Big 12 against Pac-12. We're playing 10 games. Check out the other videos. 10 games against each other. And I've seeded them based on the standings. So this is not my opinion. These are the standings in the Big 12 and the Pac-12. We, of course, with the Big 12 and 10 teams, had to throw out 2 Pac-12 teams. We always do that fairly. So we took out the 2 middle teams, no Utah or Oregon State playing for the Pac-12. So they're playing 100 games. 10 times 10 is 100. Oklahoma, Washington. Great series here. I see it at 5-5. Hate to bail out on that one, but I see 5-5. Oklahoma State and Colorado. We've said it a number of times. We've picked on the Buffs. Yes, great season out of Mike McIntyre and company. But they are clearly not the second best team in the Pac-12. I know they played like it, they earned it, but man, they were horrible down the stretch. There was nearly no dumpster fire in postseason play like Colorado against Oklahoma State. So to give Colorado 2, yeah, I think that's reasonable. If they play 10 times, the Buffs are going to win at least twice. But Oklahoma State clearly just dominated that game. It was not close. I see the same thing flipping the roles in the next one, the USC West Virginia series. Trojans dominate the Mountaineers 8-2. West Virginia clearly not as good as its 10-2 regular season record. Kansas State, Washington State, good series, goes 5-5. Of course, Washington State with the offense. K-State more fundamentally sound. Luke Falk's going to pull some games out, but as we saw against Minnesota in the Holiday Bowl, got to credit those teams that really grind it out. TCU and Stanford. Stanford, a much better team this season, wins 7-3. TCU, 6-7 ball club that really didn't beat anyone of significance. Texas and Cal, they have played recently twice. 2 very close games down to the wire. And this pretty much turns out the same at 5-5. Of course, Jared Goff in those games. Texas Tech, Oregon. And I like a 5-5 series here. There would be 1 million points scored in every game. Baylor, Arizona State. Let's not overreact to bowl play. So, for example, it's easy to say Ohio State, wow, they weren't as good as we thought. But they were playing the national champion, and it was 1 game. Baylor looked great in the postseason. They demolished Boise State. They dominated that game. But remember Baylor? Remember 3-6 against the Big 12 and winning 3 lousy non-conference games. Baylor comes through against Arizona State at 6-4. Baylor showed us in the whatever bowl game they played against Boise State, the Humanitarian Bowl. That's what it used to be. Showed how good they can be. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl, whatever it was. Iowa State, UCLA. I've said it over and over if you've watched the videos. UCLA and Ole Miss. Clearly the most talented low seeds in this tournament. UCLA dominates Iowa State. It might be worse than that. We'll go 7-3. And these teams are healthy. Josh Rosen playing. Arizona, Kansas, the Jayhawks, and Rutgers. Between those two, awful. Arizona much better than Kansas at 7-3. So this comes out Pac-12 55, Big 12 45, 100 games. So this is how it finished out. Is that the SEC won 296, lost 204. That's a 59% winning percentage, 592 for the SEC. The ACC went 266 and 234 at 532 winning percentage. So SEC 592, ACC at 532. Big Ten edged out the Pac-12. The Big Ten at 482, the Pac-12 at 476. The Big 12, as you might expect it, 395. Those are my thoughts on what would happen if these games were played. It would take 1 million years to play all these games, but it would be fun, and it would tell us a lot. Need to hear from you now. As always, I'm Mark Rogers TV.